What if I told you that somewhere in the world right now, there's a tiny, soft-looking mammal that can paralyze prey twice its size? Or that one of the most adorable animals you've ever seen hides venom in its elbows? And even weirder, one of the most primitive mammals on Earth can deliver a sting so painful, people have compared it to broken glass being shoved into their leg. Yeah, mammals. Not snakes, not spiders. Mammals. Today, we're diving into one of the strangest, most overlooked corners of the animal kingdom. Every venomous mammal explained. And trust me, by the end of this, you're never going to look at cute the same way again. All right, so before we jump in, let's clear something up. When people think of venom, they usually think of snakes, scorpions, jellyfish, creatures that inject toxins through fangs or stingers. But mammals? That sounds wrong. And that's because venom in mammals is incredibly rare. Out of thousands of mammal species on Earth, only a handful have evolved true venom systems. Why? Well, mammals took a different evolutionary path. Instead of venom, most developed claws, teeth, speed, intelligence, or just sheer size. So when a mammal does evolve venom, it's usually for a very specific and very interesting reason. Today, we're going to break down every known venomous mammal, how their venom works, why they evolved it, and what makes each one so bizarre. Let's start with the most famous and honestly the weirdest of them all. Imagine an animal with the bill of a duck, the tail of a beaver, the feet of an otter, and venomous spurs on its legs. That's the platypus. And yes, this thing is 100% real. Male platypuses have a sharp spur on each hind leg, connected to a venom gland. During the breeding season, that gland...
Now let's talk about something that looks like it crawled straight out of the prehistoric era, the solenodon. This small rat-like mammal lives in the Caribbean, mainly in Cuba and Hispaniola, and it hasn't changed much in about 70 million years, which makes it a living fossil. But what really sets the solenodon apart is its venom delivery system. Instead of fangs like a snake, it has grooves in its teeth. When it bites, venom flows along those grooves into the wound, kind of like a built-in syringe. It uses this venom primarily to subdue prey like insects, worms, and small animals. But here's where it gets even stranger. Solenodons have a super slow metabolism, and they sometimes store prey alive after envenomating it, basically turning their victims into living, paralyzed snacks. Nature is not messing around. And despite being venomous, solenodons are actually very shy and endangered, mostly due to habitat loss and introduced predators. They've survived millions of years, but modern threats are proving much harder to handle. Okay, next up, shrews. Now, at first glance, shrews just look like tiny, hyperactive mice. But some species, like the northern short-tailed shrew, are venomous. And these little guys are ruthless. Like the solenodon, shrews have grooves in their teeth that deliver venom when they bite. Their venom isn't super dangerous to humans, but for their prey, it's devastating. They can take down animals larger than themselves, frogs, mice, even small birds. And just like solenodons, they sometimes store prey alive in a paralyzed state. Think about that. A tiny mammal creating its own live food storage system. That's not just survival, that's strategy. Scientists have even found that shrew venom contains compounds that can lower blood pressure, which has potential medical applications. So again, strange, but useful. Okay, next up, venomous shrews. Now, at first glance, shrews just look like...
Now we get to one of the most surprising entries on this list, because this one looks like a plush toy. Meet the slow loris. Big eyes, soft fur, gentle movements. It looks completely harmless. It is not. The slow loris is the only known venomous primate. Yes, a venomous relative of monkeys and apes. Here's how it works. The loris has a gland on its arm that produces a toxic secretion. When threatened, it raises its arms above its head and licks that gland. mixing the toxin with its saliva. Then it bites. And that bite can cause serious allergic reactions in humans, including anaphylactic shock. In other words, it can potentially kill you. But the venom isn't just for defense. Slow lorises also use it in fights with each other and even to protect their babies by coating them in the toxin so predators think twice. It's one of the most unique venom systems in the animal kingdom. And sadly, despite how dangerous they are, slow lorises are often victims of the illegal pet trade because people think they're cute, which is exactly why understanding animals like this matters. Now, things get a little more uncertain. There are a few mammals that scientists suspect might have venomous traits, or are still being studied. Some species of bats, for example, produce anticoagulant saliva that helps them feed on blood. Technically, it's not venom in the traditional sense, but it's still a specialized biochemical tool. There are also rodents, like the African crested rat, which uses plant toxins by coating its fur. Again, not true venom, but it shows how mammals can evolve chemical defenses in creative ways. The line between venom, poison, and other chemical adaptations can get blurry. But what's clear is this: mammals are far more chemically sophisticated than we used to think. So why so rare? The answer comes down to evolution. Venom is expensive. It takes energy to produce, store, and deliver. For many mammals, it's simply more efficient to rely on teeth, claws, speed, or intelligence. But in certain niches, like small, nocturnal,
When you step back and look at all of this together, something really interesting emerges. Venomous mammals aren't just oddities. They're clues. Clues about how evolution experiments, adapts, and finds unexpected solutions. From the platypus's painful spur, to the solenodon's ancient bite, to the slow loris's toxic embrace, each one represents a completely different path to survival. And that's kind of incredible. So next time you think of mammals as familiar, predictable, or even safe, remember this: some of them carry hidden weapons. Some of them bend the rules of biology. And some of them are way more dangerous than they look. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to subscribe for more videos like this, because the natural world is full of stories that are just as strange and just as fascinating. And if there's a topic you want to see next, maybe the most dangerous animals no one talks about, or the strangest survival strategies ever evolved, drop it in the comments. Thanks for watching.